Welcome to D Infinity Live Volume 6, the multi-platform, multi-publisher program to entertain and inform you. My name is Robert Groover, coming to you from Houston, Texas, and welcome to our holiday special. I'd like to welcome to the broadcast William Thrasher. Good evening, Will.
Hello.
How are you tonight, sir? Happy
I'm
holidays.
Doing very well.
Good. And from the West Coast, Richard Balsley. Happy holidays, Richard.
Hi.
And from Florida, Brendan Cass, the IT man for D-Infinity.net.
Hey.
Happy holidays, Brendan. And from deep in the heart of Texas, Michael Varhola. Good evening, Michael.
Yeehaw.
Hey, that is an awesome shirt, Michael. Tell us about what you're wearing there, my friend.
Yeah, normally I wear one of our skirmisher polo shirts, which are, in fact, made by Off-World Designs. But I wanted to show the colors for them a little bit tonight, and I'm wearing one of their wonderful T-shirts that actually show their name and logo on it. So Off-World Designs is one of D-Infinity's co-publishers. So once in a while, it's good to avail ourselves of their wonderful products.
Yeah, it's always good to see that. And I did make a mistake. Brendan is in New York, not Florida. That is a very much of a different locale. Sorry about that, Brendan.
That's fine.
Brendan, we had you on the show last week, and we had some technical problems where we lost you. So we decided to bring you back this week so that we can talk more about the D-Infinity Online and the great work that you've done to make that site. So I know that that something like this is it's basically a technical marvel, for lack of a better word. It's hard to have a lot of moving pieces going in and out. But what was the technical side of it like, of building a site like this and maintaining it?
Well, so as far as building it goes, it's sitting on a content management system called Drupal, which is great because it's open source and it's very flexible, gives you lots of options for plugging things into it that you've written yourself or other people have written. So it takes care of some of the grunt work behind getting simple things like user accounts set up and stuff that just gets repeated over and over and over again. It gets really tricky though when you start thinking about how you want to structure something like that. The D-Infinity site, as far as actually coding it and putting it together goes, was about a week's worth of straight work. Just coding things and making sure everything worked. But making sure that it was the kind of experience that D-Infinity was hoping that its readers would have when they visited the site, that took a lot of extra thought, a lot of back and forth with people who use the site. That includes actually people who write for D-Infinity as well. So you had to keep. It's really the people. There's the people who make designing a website really complicated. The more different users you have, the more complicated the site's design necessarily has to be. I think the way it came out actually kind of plays to the way that each user group uses it. I'm pretty happy with it.
That said, speaking from the point of view of somebody who's been using the site since we officially launched it 3 weeks ago, it is really pretty easy to use. And I know that the easier it is for me to use it as a user, the tougher it was for you to put it together and make it so seamless. So that definitely is appreciated. But it really is a simple interface, and it's just so clean and so good looking. It's really a top-notch site. So I have to say that of any of the organizations I've worked with, it's about the best looking, most user-friendly site that I've ever had to deal with.
I appreciate that, Mike.
Well, I appreciate it. There's a lot to be said for that, and it's shaping up nicely. We've just had a phenomenal amount of content going up on the site since we launched it, haven't we?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in the 2 weeks that it's been up since our last technical debacle where I got
sorry.
It was 3 weeks. You're right, 3 weeks. When I got dropped from the show. It's really come into its own. It's really nice how something like that kind of takes on a character and life of its own when the content providers really start interacting with it, when your readers start interacting with it, adding comments to it.
Right.
You can, I mean, there have been things that I couldn't even predict.
It's very organic.
Yeah, it is, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I've been, pruning it and shaping it as people have been working with it, and I'm really excited to see where it goes in the future.
Yeah, likewise.
And what are those plans? Is there future plans coming for D Infinity? What's next, basically?
Absolutely. In terms of what you're going to be able to look at, the site structure and things like that, I'm constantly getting feedback from people who use it to add content, and also the people who read it, especially because it's really important to me that the way the information is presented there makes sense, and it's easy for people to find information that's interesting to them right away. So right now, I would say that the front page, I've spent most of my time making sure that that's real clean, neat, and that your front page experience is a real home run. But I'm looking to, in the future, make sure that each of your departmental pages are customized for the kind of stuff that you're going to see in there. Take your prop room department, for example. That's going to be a lot more image driven, and it's kind of a lot of how-tos. So there's a kind of structure for writing how-tos that looks better and feels better to viewers, and that's the kind of specializations that I can add to the website. In addition to I'm looking at adding functionality to it that allows users to build, and it's actually something that Wikipedia did first and kind of inspired me, add content that they found on the website to a book that they can keep track of and then download as a PDF. So they can keep track of all of their favorite content that they find on the D Infinity website, and then save it as a PDF so that they can use it in their games or put it on one of their book readers or their tablet or something like that.
So somebody would, for example, be able to take the prop room articles, all the prop room articles, or all the digital dice articles that you write. If somebody was interested in using their computer as an accessory for gaming, they could take all your digital dice articles and they could make a PDF document with just them, and then either print that out or use that online. The
ideal is you click a button that says something to the effect of "add it to my book," and it asks you for a book title, and if you already have a book started, you choose the title that you've already written, and it keeps it all tracked there, and you can download it from there. So that's the kind of functionality that I'm looking at adding in the future, and I think that's something that would really add a lot of value to the experience that our viewers are going to get from the website.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rob, I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. Richard, did you have a question for Brendan about what?
I kind of wanted to follow up with the thing you were mentioning about doing a book format. Is that going to apply for like blog posts and comments that people make as well? Like, say somebody mentioned something in a blog post that somebody actually liked and thought it was a really good follow-up to or a response to a post, or even an exchange between the blog author and a couple other people, and some good content came out of that. Would a viewer be able to put that in a book as well?
Yeah, I don't see why not. In terms of structure, maybe that would get added as a kind of addenda to the end of your book, if that maybe fits better, or if it fits better. I mean, this is one of those things you're going to have to try it and then see. It might fit better just to throw it with the actual blog post. But yeah, blog posts are totally going to be available for adding it to your book as well. And there have been some insightful comments already on the D Infinity website, so I don't see why they shouldn't be included either.
Good point.
Yeah, Richard and I were talking about one of my posts that I had, which followed up with some information from D Infinity number 3, from my Lance and Laser Plant Monsters that I wrote in that article. So I was able to post the one that was cut. But it actually wasn't cut for content. It was actually cut for link because it was a complicated thing and had a template to go with it. So it always has some extra stuff. How about you, Will? Will, did you have a question for Brendan about the website and what we're doing?
Only when does my moderator status go active?
Will, you should have all kinds of permissions there, but if you want more, go ahead and ask, and
All right.
I will grant them to you.
Well, that's great. We'll get Will his moderator status as soon as the show is over. Of course, we're gonna move on to our next topic here. Thank you very much, Brendan. Brendan's going to stay on the show with us for the rest of the episode. So, giving some insights and information that he has for our future topics. So, if you'd like to interact with us, please make sure you can do that at Twitter at DInfinityLive. You can contact us via email at dinfinitylive@gmail.com. I'm assuming that'll probably change over to a d-infinity.net website email real soon. But for now, you can still reach us at the Gmail account. So we're going to move on to our next topic. But before we do that, I want to give Richard a moment. He has a shout out to do here for us, an important thing.
Yeah, I'd just like to give a shout out to Shatford Library at Pasadena City College for all the cool activities they had this week for finals for the students. On Tuesday and today, they played some games. They played Carcassonne, I think that's how you pronounce it, on Tuesday. And today they had Settlers of Catan available for students to play. So, I mean, really well done kind of activities. And right now they're making stress balls. So anybody that's listening, I just want to let them know that it's really cool. And I'm glad that one of our viewers, Diana Lopez, was able to put all that together for them. In fact, they even got a local gaming store to help out with some of the products and to teach the students how to play Carcassonne and Catan. So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, that's great. Do you know the name of the game store that helped them out?
Yeah, it's called Game Empire Pasadena.
Okay, so if you happen to be in Pasadena, make sure to check out Game Empire. They have some great help to good people. So that's awesome, Richard. Glad you're able to tell us more about that. So let's move on to our holiday gift giving guide. Right after the show, we're going to have a post up on the web on d-infinity.net, which will have all of the stuff that we're going to talk about, including links, prices, the whole 9 yards. You'll be able to see it right after the show on d-infinity.net. So I gave everyone kind of a challenge before the show, and I asked them to pick 3 items that they thought gamers would like. It didn't have to be anything specific to actual gaming, like a book or whatever. It could be anything, but for the most part, it could be any sort of thing. So I also had them pick one skirmisher product. So we're going to talk about the skirmisher products first, and we're going to go through our lists. So and we're going to start with me, since I like mine the best. So the skirmisher product that I picked was City Builder, written by Michael Varholda. I love City Builder. City Builder is one of those great books that sits right next to my Dungeon Master Guide, right next to my core rule books. It has helped me more in writing interesting cities than anything I've ever written or read before. So and that's a testament to Mike and all the work that he's done in the past with like Nation Builder, and Richard did with like Cosmos Builder. So those are all the spiritual successors to City Builder, and of course Richard is working Castle Builder as well. So
and I have to say, with regard to City Builder, I've also got to give credit to Jim Clooney, who is one of our Australian compatriots. He co-authored that with me, and that book was done with feedback from Gary Gygax. So that was the last project that I worked on with Gary Gygax, for obvious reasons. But he actually gave us a lot of guidance when we were working on City Builder. So yeah, it's not a coincidence that it's a great, useful book. You're mute, Rob.
Sorry about that. I did it. That's just like had my thumb on it too and screwed it up. So so that was mine, City Builder. What was your skirmisher pick?
Who?
I think it means you, Mike.
Yeah, Mike. What was your skirmisher?
Well, my skirmisher pick seems a little self-serving at first, but it's actually kind of more selfless than you would think. My skirmisher pick is Swords of Coast Necropolis, which is the first book in Skirmisher's Swords of Coast fantasy fiction line, And the reason I suggest it is for a couple of reasons. One, it's a great story. I wrote it. It's my book. I wrote it last November for National Novel Writing Month. It came out in May. So it's just a fun story for anyone who's interested in reading it. But one of the things that we've discussed just over the last week with Brendan, as our IT guy who's running dinfinity.net, and with everyone else here, is that we're going to be running the sequel to Necropolis, Return to the Necropolis, as serialized fiction on dinfinity.net. So Swords of Coast Necropolis is going to be a gift that keeps on giving, because anyone who reads it and enjoys it is going to be able, at some point after the new year, sometime between the first week of January and the last week of February, going to be able to start reading the sequel to Necropolis at the rate of 1 chapter a week. So, that'll probably be about 1,500, 2,000 words a week. So that's something that we want to do for our readers. Return to the Necropolis is a self-standing story. Everybody will be able to read it and enjoy it, even if they haven't read Necropolis. But that's what made me choose this for a good skirmisher gift, because there's going to be so much follow-on to it that people can continue to enjoy for the first 6 months of the new year.
Yeah, it's great. We're really looking forward to your story, Mike. I know I sure am. I enjoyed Necropolis a lot. It was everything that we wanted from a D&D game in a novel form, so it was perfect for that. So, Will, your pick is really interesting. It's one of my favorite Cthulhu Live things. Tell us about what you picked from Skirmisher.
My pick is Sight Unseen. It's a Cthulhu live action role play scenario that I developed a few years ago. But the reason I bring it up, it's simply because if you know someone who enjoys live action role playing, this is very, very different. It breaks from a lot of the traditions of Cthulhu Live and live action role playing in general. It's not a game where you've got 30 plus people all with these intricate conspiracies interacting with each other. It's just a small core group of everyman players, from 3 to 6, depending on how you want to do it, who have to interact with their environment without using their eyes. They're blindfolded for the entirety of the scenario, and it makes it all very, very unique and opens up all sorts of prop and special effect and stagecraft options that you wouldn't normally get in a standard Cthulhu or other LARP scenario.
Right.
Yeah, and it's a seminal work. It really is, because it's different. It's amazingly different from what anybody else has done before. So,
and it takes the whole issue of costumes out of the game.
Right. That's true too.
Right. No need for costuming a LARP for that.
You don't need to make You don't need to make an actual 10-foot tall monster if you can just combine the right sound effects with the right tactile sensations.
Right. So, what about you, Richard? What did you pick from the Skirmisher catalog?
I chose Insults and Injuries.
Yeah.
It's a really good book. I'm glad I got to read through it and see what it had to offer for no other reason than it really makes the world work as a scary place. And without having to resort to monsters of any kind. I mean, kind of like what Will was saying, taking away people's sight for a LARP is, that's a really huge thing, and I think that Injury and Insults is kind of is to pen and paper RPGs what Sight Unseen is to live action. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it puts a lot of fear into people when you think about just how messed up diseases are and how prevalent they were in the Middle Ages. And so if you have a condition, that we take for granted as something that can be fixed, because of modern medicine and technology that has helped us along the way, this book is just it's an eye opener. It's forget mummy rot. It's like, who cares about magical diseases that okay, well, it's kind of scary, but at the same time, it's like you have no real world counterpart to it.
Right.
So I thought that Injuries and Insults was a really good, or Insults and Injuries was a really good book, and I think it's something that everybody should get, if for no other reason, to see just how scary diseases can be, just by using real world models and written in an OGL format.
And written by a medical doctor.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's what gives the book so much weight is you have a medical doctor who's also a gamer. So he took two things that he knows very well and combined them in a way that just it stands out as something that I think is really eye opening and has been long overdue for gaming that deals with settings where there really is no medicine.
Yep.
Right. And the last one here is Brendan. Brendan, do you have a favorite skirmisher book that you like that you would recommend to our readers?
Well, it's hard to skip over a recent release, the Jester Dragon's Guide to Defects. I know it's been mentioned in previous episodes before, but back in the day, I think I was 17 at the time. I know I'm younger than everybody else on screen here, but I was 17 at the time. This was my first convention, and we were selling the original OGL version of Nuisances, and it had this defect concept in it. And there I was, running the booth, trying to sell this stuff to anybody who would stop by and listen to me. And it was easily the best part of that book in terms of getting a chuckle out of people who'd stop by and listen. And it was probably the most functional and useful part to come out of that book, other than the random tables with numbers that you couldn't actually get to with any conventional dice. So, the Jester Dragon's Guide to Defects expanded on that, and I was super excited to see that come out, it being my favorite part of that book, of the Nuisances book. So, if you're super interested in the subject, you can talk about. You could always pick up the original book I mentioned, which Mike is holding up there.
Yep.
Or you could get the pure defect version, the Jester Dragon's Guide to Defects, and I can't see anyone who wouldn't be disappointed by something like that. It's just fun to read through, even if you don't even use it. So it's entertaining, it's handy, and adding a nice twist to your game, and definitely worth picking up.
And you'll note the Jester Dragon is the image on Nuisances. And we picked him up as our mascot for the series of books that we're doing now, which started with Jester Dragon's Guide to Defects, is going to follow with guides to feats, vegetable monsters, magic items, whatever. So,
well, we're looking forward to that. So that's our skirmisher portion. Remember, we're going to have a blog on d-infinity.net shortly after the show is done with all this information, so you can grab it there. So we're going to talk about the next step, guys. You all sent me a list, as we talked about, of the 3 products. So we're just going to go from top to bottom. Each of us talk about it for a bit. My first thing I wanted to talk about was Lords of Waterdeep. It's a board game from Wizards of the Coast. I have a copy of it right here. It's a Euro game, very similar to like Catan or Puerto Rico. It was Wizards of the Coast's first foray into this kind of high-end strategy-style game. Most of what they've been known for is like the Dungeons and Dragons games, and they also own the Avalon Hill games as well. So they are known for board games, but nothing along this lines. It plays great with 2 players as well as 5. And I highly recommend it. Mike, you've played it with me as well. You enjoyed Lords of Waterdeep?
I was drunk and suffering from nervous exhaustion, but to the extent that I can remember, yes, I did enjoy it.
How about you? What's your first pick for our holiday gift guide?
My first pick is a book by Osprey Publishing. And I don't know if everyone here is familiar with Osprey or not. Osprey is traditionally a military history guide publisher, and what makes them stand out is that they have beautiful full-color plates of warriors or soldiers or equipment or whatever. And I've been using Osprey Publishing books, particularly their Men-at-Arms series, for 30 years as gaming guides. If you need to show someone what a picture of a centurion or a legionary or whatever looks like, they're ideal. Well, a couple of years ago, Osprey did something that was long overdue, and that was get into game publishing. So they specialize in miniatures rules in particular, and they've come out with any number of different sets of miniatures rules over the last couple of years. But their newest one, and one that's impressive in a different genre than what I usually talk about, is Bolt Action. And Bolt Action is a set of miniatures rules for World War II. But it's just a beautiful book. It's full of full-color plates, which they specialize in, but then just really, really detailed images of miniatures being used in a war game. So they're solid rules. They're not overly tough or complicated to learn. And the book itself is just fun to read through. Even if you're never going to play the game, just being able to flip through the book and look at it and see what they've done with the rules is really neat. And part of what I look for in a gift suggestion is, what can follow? What can make it a gift that keeps on giving? And already there are 3 supplements out for this, and I believe more to come. So it's a beautiful book, and I'd recommend anything from Osprey. And Bolt Action, which is their World War II miniatures rules, is one of my main holiday gift-giving picks this year.
That's a great idea. I love World War II, so I'll take that gift, Mike. So whenever you want to send it, you know my address. Richard, what about you, sir? What's your first pick for our guide?
My first pick would be the Humble THQ bundle. I like Humble Bundle and the things that those guys do over there. I mean, they put together a really great package. There's not really a whole lot I can't say, about it other than how awesome it is. I mean, especially with this bundle, it came with a lot of great games. My favorite of which is Saints Row the Third. That game is just so over the top. It's so hilarious that
That's a good one.
Yeah, I just can't stop laughing. It's one of the best parodies I've ever seen. It takes the genre of gangster games like GTA and all of them, and just totally flips it and makes it so preposterous you can't help but laugh. There's so much humor in the game. It's not even funny. It's just hard not to see how these guys didn't have a blast just coming up with the idea. And the thing that I liked about it more than anything else is that Humble Bundle every year, or even semi-annually, they come out with new groups of games that you can get, and they're all at a really cheap price. And basically, name your own price, pay the minimum average to unlock everything, and you split the money that you pay however you want between the companies that put out the games, charities. In this case, they do 2 charities, American Red Cross and Child's Play, and then Humble Bundle itself, so that way they can keep their operations going. And you get to choose how much goes to each of those 3 groups. So, it's a really great concept. And lots of fun, and it's only got another week and a half or so to go. So if anybody wants to get it, it's a really good gift to get somebody.
Yeah, and it can be gifted to other people as well. It's you have to have Windows, and it has to be on Steam for the THQ bundle. But for $6 or $7, it's a great gift to send out to anybody who likes games. Absolutely. What about you, Will? What is your first pick tonight?
For the first pick, it's the only sort of real strict product I have, and this is something that connects to gamers of my particular generation who really got into tabletop gaming in the 90s. But my pick is the 20th anniversary edition of Vampire the Masquerade. It is a big, heavy, thick book that has all the good parts of Vampire the Masquerade with none of the crap. It's the edition of Vampire the Masquerade I wish existed 20 years ago when I first tried to get into it. It is a fantastic book. It's got great artwork, both the good classic artwork from the original run of the game, plus new artwork which was commissioned just for this edition. Every clan they ever published is in the book. Every bloodline they ever published in the book. Every power they ever published is in the book, and it doesn't have any of those sort of things. It's free of, the rules are very streamlined, and it's free of all those little things. I guess I call them tumors that any setting that's been around for so long picks up. They've trimmed away all the fat.
Right, and it is a brilliant book. I have the PDF version, but it is awesome. I hope to play Vampire with it soon.
Yeah,
So,
it was the best
Brendan,
thing I picked up at Origins last year.
yeah, absolutely. Brendan, what about you? Do you have a pick for us?
I do, and it's definitely at the top range. We've been talking about some affordable things, but there's this company out there called Geek Chic or Chic,
Chic.
and they make gaming furniture. And I can't remember which convention I was at, but they had their stuff set out, and I saw these beautiful wooden tables. We're talking tables that you would be proud to serve, anybody off of.
Yeah.
But then you can remove these panels, and underneath there's this recessed area where you can set up your dungeons or your war game or whatever, and it's got drawers that come out and little attachments so you can have places for people to put their reference books and cup holders and things like that. So it's just this fantastic furniture that it was really built with the whole gaming process in mind, and wonderful. I would love to have one. I think I can't imagine anybody who does some form of tabletop gaming wouldn't be ecstatic to receive something like that. So yeah, if you've got a big wad of cash burning a hole in your pocket and you're looking at something that would really blow a gamer away, that's a good place to go. The website is gamerchic.hq.com.
Yeah.
So check them out.
They're like thousands of dollars, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. At least
The
the cheapest things are several hundred at the least.
the table that is, I think, their most expensive is called the Sultan. It's between 12 to 15,000.
Well, they use a Geek Chic table on the Will Wheaton's YouTube channel, Tabletop, on Geek and Sundry. So they have. If you ever want to see one of those, you can check that out on YouTube in action. So that's a good pick, actually. That's kind of the Learjet of gaming gifts, I suppose. So let's move over to Will for your second pick. Will, what's your second pick, bud?
Well, my second pick is this is something that when I moved into Lexington, there were just space was really tight, and when I did get people together to game, we were always gaming on a really small table, and dice were flying everywhere. So I started making dice towers just to keep dice from flying off the table or being chased by errant cats, and it's really worked out very well. And the thing is, since you can, all you need is some foam core board and a pattern, and you can make your own dice tower. And I think that's a great gift when you can make a dice tower and customize it for whatever gamer you want to give it to.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know somebody who plays a lot of medieval or fantasy war games, it's real easy to customize the dice tower to make it look like a fortification or a siege engine. If you know somebody who plays a lot of sci-fi role-playing games, you could do kind of little, like, you can make it, you can dry brush it to give it a faux metallic look, and make it look like some sort of like high-tech alien relic. It's something. It's simple. It's quick to do, and you can make it an item perfect for whatever gamer you're going to give it to. And that's always been a big thing for me around the holidays. I always try to make sure that for every store-bought thing I give, I try to give something that I've created myself.
Yeah, and that's a great way to give good gifts without just pouring money out to our friends and family, and to these big stores for our friends and family. So that's a great handmade gift. My second pick is actually an individual book, something that I found indispensable since it came out just a couple of months ago. Is Paizo's Ultimate Equipment. Yeah, it's sort of the spiritual succession to there was a 3.5 items book that was very similar to it, but it's
got a copy right here.
Yeah, there it is, right there. Ultimate Equipment. It's go up a little bit, but yeah, there's thousands of items in this book. It's great for loading up dragons hordes and treasures chests. It's for DMs. It's great to use as a shopping cart for players of stuff that they could get now or in the future. I think it's an indispensable source of some great information. You can get it on Amazon for about $35. You can get it directly from Paizo for about $45, but it's very good. It's a great book. Anybody that plays Pathfinder or OGLD20 will enjoy it. So, what about you, Richard? What is your second pick?
I guess this would be my self-interest pick of the bunch, and that would be Dungeonlands, Tomb of the Lich Queen. And I actually got to help work on it, mostly in terms of editing. It's done in both Savage Worlds and Pathfinder, and hence the reason why when we did our What Are We Reading list, I showed off those two books because it was part of that project. But it's a classic old school kind of dungeon, like Tomb of Horrors, and it's something that you can randomize, so there's no set map that you have to go with. And it was a really great idea. I mean, it's really fun, little deal in terms of just if you want to kill off your players' characters, it's that kind of dungeon. I mean, it's literally in the vein of you have to probe every 10 feet or so, otherwise you might step on a trap that'll kill everyone, not just your character, but everyone.
Right.
Lots of monsters that are really, really tough. I mean, it's designed for high level play. So I mean, it's an epic dungeon for really epic, characters. I mean, it's everything writ large. So it was just really fun to be able to work on that project, and anybody who wants to play something that has an old school vibe but uses new rules, this would be a really great thing for them to play.
Yeah, and that's on Kickstarter right now, isn't it, Richard?
Yeah, it was a Kickstarter project, and when we kicked that off, I actually helped with a 24-hour design challenge where we wrote an entire book and edited it and laid it out in 24 hours live. Nice. And wow. we did it, and we live stream it so that way people could follow along and see our progress or whatever was going on.
Cool. Yeah, that's really awesome. What about you, Mike? What is your second pick for holiday gift guide?
My second pick overlaps with one that Richard picked, and that's the Humble THQ bundle. It's a bundle of, when I bought it as a gift for someone, I really did buy this as a gift for someone. It had 7 games. Now it's got 8 THQ games plus a mission pack for one of them. So Richard mentioned one of the games. It's also got the other ones listed. I'll just run through them. Are Darksiders, Metro 2033, Red Faction Armageddon, Company of Heroes Opposing Fronts, and Company of Heroes Tales of Valor, plus whatever 8th new one they just added. So it's a great bundle. I mean, I saw some sort of snarky comments online. Well, if you're a serious gamer, you've already played all of these. If you've already played through all of these, you're playing too damn many computer games. I would say for any normal person, this would make a great gift. Yep. And it's one that I've actually bought for someone. So I think it's a good choice. So yeah. Glad Richard and I concur on that.
The 8th game is Titan Quest.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And the great thing about that, Mike, is Saints Row the Third. That's like 25 or 30 hours. Darksiders is in the 40-hour range. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of hours probably of game time.
It's a lot of
$6 or $7. Yeah, a lot of bang for the buck. And I'm a gamer too. I love computer games, but I don't push that edge. Lots of people, they have to buy the $60 games as soon as it comes out so they can push that edge. I wait for it to go to 15 and just enjoy it. Right. So
and this you can get for really the way the Humble Bundle is set up for any price that you want. You've got to have a minimum price to be able to get Saints Row the Third, but that minimum price right now is something like $6.
Right.
So it's good. It's a good gift to buy yourself if for no one else.
Right, exactly. So let's move on to our third pick. I'll start with mine. My third pick kind of parallels one that Will talked about, and that's dice. Every gamer loves dice. I don't think there's a single man on our panel here tonight that doesn't have a huge bag of dice, and probably close at hand. So there goes Brendan looking for his. So, dice are so important. And you might say, there it is. So you might say, well, oh, my gaming friend, he has lots and lots of dice. Well, that doesn't matter. We always want more cool dice.
Yes.
We can replace a white black pip 6-sider in our bag with a cool yellow flaming one you bought for us, or get us a D100 that looks like a golf ball, or a D30. I don't know. I just bought a D30. I've been gaming for 25 years. I've never had one before. So, you can find oddball stuff, maybe stuff made out of precious metals like copper or silver. Those are all over at cons. So, there's always great things. Hell, Mike here gave me one of my favorite D20s, and that's my flashing crit D20 that flashes whenever you roll a 20.
Nice.
Yeah.
My players hated that die. They hated it because every time it flashed, they were screwed.
So the next level in the technology will be that it actually has a siren or a clanging bell.
Right.
But
Or it does that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
I at one point had a giant foam D20 that I would roll for the really important rolls, just so people could watch it roll across the floor, and ideally I'd kill them.
If people look at my image, the little picture that I have on my title bar, you can see a couple of D100s and a D30 in there.
Yeah. So, and I have a giant D20 as well. That's actually a magic 8-ball on the bottom. So it's a magic D20. So it's that was actually a gift from a friend as well. So dice of any caliber are more than welcome as a gaming gift. Exactly. So what about you, Will? What is your third and final pick?
My third and final pick is. And this quite frankly I think is the best gift you can give to a gamer, is to just take a chunk of time out of your day and play a game. Share that experience. As we get older, we all get conflicting schedules, and it can get harder and harder to get any kind of regular gaming group together.
True.
And that's why the time you do have to game is so important. And this time of year, more than any other time of year, I really want to encourage people to make an extra effort to get out there and actually game with the people you care about.
Right, you might actually find that you like it. So it's a good thing.
That too.
So, and that's a great pick, Will. Thank you very much. That's a very valid point. We need to make time with the people around us. What about you, Richard? What is your last pick for our gift guide?
Well, this is my dice bag.
Excellent.
And it's what you can see in my image. And, like Robert, I have lots of strange dice. There's my D30.
All right.
I have some fudge dice. Got to have some random looking dice in there. I even have a D34. I've never used it, but I have one. But my pick would have to be dice rings, because as much fun as it is to have tangible physical dice like these and to have them all over the place and do what you can, and even have cool dice bags like this was actually made by a friend of mine. I hate stepping on dice. I tell you, that is the worst. Like Will was talking about doing the dice tower so you don't have to worry about cats getting a hold of the dice. Well, my cat loves dice. And like, as soon as she hears me roll the dice, like if I'm trying to make characters for something, or, just randomly generate the numbers so that, instead of sitting there racking my brain trying to figure out, well, what should I make this character's stats? If I walk away, I hear my dice go rolling across the floor. I'm like, great, thanks. Right? That's what I need, dice everywhere. And I don't know if anybody has seen the Kickstarter project for dice rings, but that was actually, it combines a couple of those things in there where there's cats running around stealing your dice. The inevitable stepping on a D4 barefoot, which is one of the most... Yeah, it's one of the most painful things a gamer will ever experience.
Yeah.
So the concept of the dice rings I thought was a really great idea. I mean, you wear them like regular rings, and they're basically fidget rings. So like you can sit there and like spin them or do whatever with them. But more than anything else, they're probably more statistically accurate than rolling dice. You don't have to worry about the machining process of the dice. Because I don't know if anybody's ever seen the famous game science video with Lou Zocchi talking about like if you stack game science dice, they're more balanced in terms of how they're constructed. Like going through the process. And if you stack D20s from other companies, you can see them kind of go like all over the place. So I mean, if you think about it, it's a circle. And when and it's the numbers are somehow etched into the metal in such a way that like you won't be rubbing it off, and it spins freely, so you can spin it, and it's got a pointer of some sort to let you know where what number is actually rolled or spun in this case. And each number is a percentage portion of the ring, so it's more statistically accurate. I thought that was a really great idea.
That's one of the great Kickstarters that's been going on soon. Of course, we'll have links below, and you can catch us out on d-infinity.net, where you'll have the blog. And we have one more here. Mike, what is your third and final pick for our 2012 holiday guide?
For a gaming gift guide, there's one thing we haven't mentioned, and that's miniatures. We haven't mentioned miniatures. I don't think anyone mentioned miniatures. No. And one of my favorite miniature companies is ArmorCast. ArmorCast makes battlefield terrain and has a number of different lines of miniatures. But there are two that caught my eye. Mine are in the mail, so I can't hold them up and show them, but I know we'll have links up that people can look at in the archive version of the show. One is a dwarf Santa. It's a classic European-looking Santa Claus that's a dwarf. But he's got, a sack of toys and a pipe. So it's just a nice classic figure. And the other is a Saint Nick bot with machine gun. And I will say that for licensing purposes, this is definitely not the evil robotic Santa from Futurama. But I will say that
it's the evil robotic Santa from Invader Zim.
There you have it. But it would be easy to see why someone would be confused. But the dwarf is like a 25mm figure. The robotic Santa with the machine gun is a 50mm figure. So it's a hulking Santa killer robot. So they're nice miniatures. They're seasonal miniatures. And honestly, what struck me when I looked at them online and said, "Oh, I got to get some of these," was that somebody who paints and models could make some really neat ornaments with these and have some really cool and a little bit game-oriented ornaments for their tree. So.
Yeah, it's a great idea. They're cool minis. I saw the pics of them today as I was working on the article. So it's very neat looking, and you guys definitely those guys definitely need some sales. Those are great minis.
Yeah,
we're looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing them from your collection next time we get a chance to get up to Spring Branch. But we're going to move on. We have a question from the audience. We also have a question from the host, but we're going to start with the audience because you guys are more important than Will. So,
I didn't like that.
Happy holidays, Will. So, our question from the audience is from Wayne, and Wayne, there we go. And Wayne asks, "What is the best map making software?" Apparently, his wife and son are both interested. Richard, you have a lot of experience in this, so let's ask you.
I'm sure he gets to weigh on this too.
Well, the one that I use is Campaign Cartographer 3. It's really good. Unfortunately, I'm really bad at mapping. I mean, if you gave me a graph paper and a pencil, I'm fine. It's perfect. I can draw a map and make it look good. I can make somewhat questionably passable maps for publication, which is what I've been doing for the Castle Builder books. I mean, it's enough to get the idea across and present everything I need to, but I mean, there's more functionality than I know how to really use because it's a computer-aided drafting program. So I mean, it's really powerful, and the CC3 actually has lighting effects, which I have yet to play with. So you can actually add light and shadow to your maps rather than the plain maps that I've been doing for the PDFs. But mostly the reason why I've been using the stripped down version on the PDFs, in addition to my lack of skill, is that they're more printer friendly. And
That's right.
that's basically my main goal at this point, is to make sure that they're printer friendly more than they look as awesome as they possibly can. Right. So I mean, that would probably be my best pick, because for a while it was the rival to Dungini, which I don't believe is in production anymore. And so I mean, there's a lot of features that that Dungini shared with Campaign Cartographer, but were somewhat easier to use because you didn't need to know computer-aided drafting as much as you do with Campaign Cartographer. But ultimately, CC3 is more powerful in terms of functionality, and there's more add-ons for it, things like that.
Right. And what about you, Brendan? What is your favorite dungeon mapping
So it's
software?
funny that we got that question, because I actually wrote an article specifically on this subject as one of my digital dice articles
For D-Infinity.
For D-Infinity, right? Because I saw, that computers could definitely help out when it came to mapping. So it's great that Richard mentioned Campaign Cartographer. Campaign Cartographer is definitely like the Photoshop of role-playing mapping. It's the most feature-rich, most powerful software on the market right now, but it's expensive.
Right.
Yes, it is.
It's expensive. So unless you plan on making and investing the time to make some really nice maps, you might be in over your head. So because of that, there are actually some other software that I should recommend. AutoRealm is a free software that's similar in functionality, but nowhere near as robust as Campaign Cartographer. It's good because it's free. It's a little bit simpler. So simple in this case means you're going to be able to figure it out a little bit quicker. And then a kind of interesting mapping software, and one that I took particularly to, is called HexMapper. HexMapper is also free. It's platform independent, so it doesn't matter if you have Windows or OS X or Linux or anything like that, because it's written in Java. But what's particularly interesting about it is that it's hierarchical. So everything is a big hex on a map, and you can subdivide that hex by smaller hexes any number of times you like. And you can zoom in and zoom out, and it'll make those hexes look like big hexes if you're zoomed way out. And if you zoom in, it'll show the smaller hexes. So what you can do is you can zoom all the way out, make your entire campaign map, and if there are specific regions that you want to flesh out, you can zoom in, get your smaller hexes, and zoom in, zoom in, zoom in further until the point where you're actually looking at a dungeon. So you get that whole the whole spectrum there, which isn't something that you necessarily get from your free mapping software, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
So it sounds like vector graphics, basically, where it goes in and out.
Right, and it's a lot simpler because basically you make a colored hex. It doesn't require complicated placement of items and things like that, which I find in the way I tend to DM. I'm either, when I'm using a map, I'm probably drawing out the actual floor plan for my players piece by piece, or I'm just describing it to them. So it's really just there for me to have a sense for the layout of things, more than something that I actually use to place players on.
I think that's some good answers for Wayne. So we thank Wayne for asking questions from the audience. We really appreciate that. If you have any questions from the audience, you can reach us in a whole bunch of different ways. We'll talk about that just a few minutes after the end of the show. But Will, you had a question for the hosts.
Well, yeah, just if there had ever been a moment where the gift of gaming made a difference, either in your life or a friend's life or with the hobby or community in general.
Anybody want to take that first?
I can take it sort of indirectly.
Okay.
One of the gifts I got last year was the Complete Lovecraft Reader, I think it's called. And it is not a gaming book. It's basically a book. It's not as complete as it claims to be, but it has, just about every story that Lovecraft wrote under his own name. And they're in chronological order. And as someone who's read Lovecraft over the years, but never read it in order from his earliest stories to his latest, I've really appreciated this book because it's sort of given me a sense for his evolution as a writer and the various trends that he went through. But the game tie-in for that, for me, is that, our Skirmisher Publishing publishes Cthulhu Live, so having a better knowledge of Lovecraft only helps. D-Infinity publishes for Call of Cthulhu now, so once again, knowing your Lovecraft better doesn't hurt one bit. And I've got a couple of features on the Skirmisher website now. One is called HP Lovecraft D20. So what I've been doing is taking each time I get through a story and have the chance to actually do it, I end up writing up a piece of D20/OGL/Pathfinder content that ties in with that story. And that's all available for free right on the Skirmisher website. And I've also got a ongoing blog post called Rereading Lovecraft that talks about the perceptions I have of the stories that are often different from what I thought of them 20 or 30 years ago when I first read them. So it isn't a gaming book, but it's really influenced. It was a gift that my wife gave me, and it has actually influenced my gaming over the last year to a great extent. So it's something that I think meets the criteria for what Will was saying.
And how about you, Brendan? You had an answer to Will's question as well.
Yeah, so going way back before I was really involved with Skirmisher, I happen to know Mike because he's a family friend. Our dads worked in the Pentagon together. I received a copy of a book called Tests of Skill. That's something that Skirmisher put out a long time ago, and it made a big difference in the way that I DM now, just because its intent was to get away from your stereotypical hack and slash kind of scenario and change it up with actually drawing in, yeah, Mike's holding it up, of really drawing in character skills and making kind of each one of your players feel special in a particular encounter because they're the one who is really the star and really shine in that particular situation because they have the skills that are necessary to get the job done. I liked it because it was smart. It pit characters against enemies that they otherwise wouldn't necessarily have been able to defeat. I always like to throw overwhelming odds against my players, and yeah, it was a clever and kind of elegant way of handling that, and it's definitely something that has influenced my DMing style since. So.
And you might remember, just as an aside, that years ago I DM'd you and a number of other people through an encounter in Tests of Skill. You encountered a monster that you could not defeat. It was a pretty horrific monster, and basically the way you had to deal with the situation was to put on a dramatic production of the ancient play The Birds. And really everybody, fighters and rogues and wizards and clerics, had to come together and create costumes and learn a play and learn lines and put on a dramatic presentation to placate this monster.
That's a great story.
So not just skills that you were good at, skills that you might not have been particularly
right.
good at.
So, Richard, we have just a minute here. What about you? How would you answer Will's question?
Well, I've not really given any games to anybody or had a lot of games bought for me that have been influential. I mean, partially because I've spent so much money on building my game library over the years that it was kind of hard for anybody to get me something that I already didn't have to go with the kind of research that I've been doing. So for me, it would have to be a textbook that I bought for myself called Rules of Play. It's about game design theory, and I have read most of it, and it was kind of a Christmas present to myself about 3 years ago, and I ended up using it to teach a class. on reading games as narrative, performative, and cultural media. So, I mean, that book was a huge influence, not so much in my gaming style, but in how I explain games to people. And so, in addition to all the stuff that I've learned over the years and read through, works by Gary and other people, from old school first edition 80 and on, this book really helped me figure out how the best way to approach the subject of teaching games to people. And that's actually what's helped me write the Anatomy of Game Design series that I've been doing. I mean, it's been based off of that more than anything else, what I've learned from that textbook in terms of the terminology that I've used.
Yeah, and that's a great thing. We know your Anatomy of a Game Design column is on d-infinity.net. You can catch a bunch of new episodes of that blog on the website now, so make sure to check that out. So we're about done with our show tonight, but I did want to give everybody a last word. So we're going to start with Will. Will, what is your last word for this episode?
My last word is going to be scrumtralescent, which is a word which is best used to describe something which is not necessarily beautiful, but enjoyable and fulfilling beyond all other words.
A fine last word. My last word is, we've Nano finished up this week. I know Mike won Nano, so I'd like to congratulate him for finishing Nano. Also, our friend of ours, John Palmer, finished as well, and everybody else who finished. I did not finish. I was about 14,000 words short, but I'm still working on the novel. I'm pushing forward, and it will be released next year, most likely. So that's my last word. How about you, Richard? What is your last word?
Oh, I just wanted to wish everybody happy holidays, and hope that they get the gifts that they want, and give stuff to people that their respective recipients also enjoy, and that they have a really great holiday season.
Great. And Mike, what is your last word for tonight's episode?
Well, usually I tend to be more promotional and less. What's the word I'm looking for?
Sentimental?
Sentimental. See, I didn't even know the word. But I do want to say that, Skirmisher's been around more than 10 years now. This was our 10th anniversary year, and we have just got such a great team of people pulled together for Skirmisher, which is one of the co-publishers of D-Infinity, and for D-Infinity itself, the D-Infinity crew, a lot of which people are looking at right now. We've got a great team pulled together. We've got more good, dedicated, smart people working with us now than we have ever had before. That includes everybody who's sitting here tonight. I am more grateful than to all of you and to the other people who are part of this venture, and just week after week do their blog posts, do their articles, edit my stuff, keep the website running. Just really have brought us to be a world-class gaming organization. We've just got so much going on now, and so much of it is being done better than just about any other organization other than a huge corporation. So we're doing great things. We've got great people, and I feel better about it now than I have in a long time, and I am grateful for that, and want to thank everybody who's involved and made that happen.
Well, you're welcome. And we're going to give our special guest, Brendan Cass, the last word. Brendan, what's your last word, sir?
Well, it would be very difficult for me as the father of dinfinity.net not to give one last plug to the website. I poured my heart and soul into it. It's still a work in progress. I plan on continuing to improve it to make sure it's the most enjoyable and most useful source of gaming information on the web. And if there's something missing and I hear about it, it gets added the next day. So please, if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. And if you are a regular reader, I see you in my Google Analytics, so trust me, you make a difference. So I hope you keep coming back, and I hope you keep enjoying all the things that we have to show you.
Well, we're really excited, Brendan, and we thank you very much for your help on the website, and we're looking forward to the future. But we're going to end the show on that note. We'd just like to remind everyone that you can see us, tweet us at @DInfinityLive. You can catch us at youtube.com/RobSmasher. You can catch us at d-infinity.net. You can find all this information in the doobly-doo down below. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Both of those things help us out. So on behalf of myself, Robert Groover, on behalf of William Thrasher,
Woo!
on behalf of Michael Varhola, on behalf of Richard Balsley, and on behalf of our special guest, Brendan Cass, I thank you and good night.